What's up, Invincible Entrepreneurs? Happy Sunday. All right, so I had this great plan of going live yesterday, and I had not much voice, no voice. And today it doesn't seem to be much better. So I haven't talked a lot this morning, so we're going to see how this goes. So bear with the raspiness, but I hope you guys are having a great Sunday. I'm going to be honest, I usually have a very strict boundary around working on Sundays, but I really want to pour into you guys and make sure you guys don't miss the opportunity to be inside of the Invincible Entrepreneur. We are closing registration, or we're closing the cart, if you will, on Tuesday. So if you want to be a part of this, if you have questions, today is the day. I'm going to do a Q&A, live Q&A on Zoom, so I can actually talk to you guys and answer questions other than just typing. So if you want that, the link is in there, or send me a DM and I'll send you the link. But I would love to truly answer, what just happened to that? Truly answer all the questions. I don't know why that just got so dark. Oh my goodness, you guys. What is happening? All right, this is just silly. All right, apparently my phone is like, you're not supposed to work on Sunday. So apologize for the crummy lighting. All right, but we're gonna go on anyway. So hold on, that's really, really terrible. Okay, I don't know, you guys. So anyway, so I wanted to talk about what's inside the Invincible Entrepreneur. What exactly you're gonna get, what makes it different than any other program out there, and really why am I doing this, right? So first and foremost, this is not just a business class. I am not a business coach. Yes, I will teach you business, but this is an entrepreneur program, okay? A lot of you know my story, a lot of you don't, but I started with my family business when I was like 18. So we had a power sports dealership. So I was, working the front counter, helping with snowmobile parts and ATV parts and motorcycles and that kind of stuff. Quickly moved into the sales role, eventually was the GM of one of our stores. So I ran a team. We were a really big power sports dealership in Colorado for quite a while. So I learned at a very young age sort of how to step into things that you weren't quite ready for. Literally when I started running our second store, my brother, who my parents owned it, but then I obviously worked there. I was married at the time, and my brother was like, so the South Store's not working. We're going to have to literally let the entire staff go, and I need you to go run it tomorrow. Okay, it was 50 miles from where we lived, and I knew nothing about motorcycles, like actually nothing about motorcycles, and we sold motorcycles. So walked in the next day, tried to figure out all the things, ended up hiring an amazing team, learned so much about team building, about really what makes people show up and pour into your business the way that you would want them to. From there, I left that when it was just time for me to move on. I became a personal trainer. Worked that business for a while. It was very challenging. I tried to work for a gym. It was stupid. I was like, you're going to pay me $6 an hour and I have to do all the sales and all the work and I make like 20 bucks. This is dumb. So I left there, did a couple other jobs. Nothing served me. I was not meant to be an employee. That's just not me. So like I am an entrepreneur at heart. I was running a personal training, an in-home personal training business. When I met Brandon 11 years ago, he was a personal trainer at a gym. We met 4 months later, we opened our gym, and that was almost 11 years ago. So 4 months into knowing each other, we're like, yeah, we should totally do this. This is a great plan. And hi, Jocelyn. And then since then, you guys, I've been in direct sales for 6 years. I don't actively work that business anymore, but I'm still reaping the benefits of that. But at the height of when I was running that, my team was doing about $80,000 in volume a month. And Brandon's team was doing 40,000. So I've built a very successful direct sales company. I ended up sort of stepping away because I knew there was a better and a different way. And that's kind of what I've discovered over the last 3 years. We also launched a physical product. So we make an insert that goes into shoes. So I don't want this to be about me, but the biggest thing I want you guys to understand is that I've done all facets of entrepreneurship. And I've seen a lot of the pitfalls, right? I've seen a lot of the pitfalls with marketing, with team building, with how do we do the things. But the biggest thing that I've seen for most people, whether it was myself, my Thrive team, people that I've tried to get to take a step forward and step into their journey, and then a lot of women that did my program with me, is that there is more. It's not the strategy, it's not the tactics, it's not that kind of stuff that people really need, although I'm going to give you guys that as well. but it's the part of taking care of ourselves, right? As we step into being an entrepreneur, there are stories and there are beliefs and there are doubts and there is mindset shifts and there is time management and there's all this stuff that happens, right? And so often we have these protectors of, I feel like a fraud, it has to be perfect, I'm a people pleaser, but what if, yada, yada, yada. There's all these fears and all this stuff that's coming up inside of us that we don't know how to handle, right? And we probably don't even realize we're doing it, right? We're like, oh, I just don't know the tech. I don't know how to create a funnel. I don't this, I don't that. We tell ourselves these stories. But underneath that, 1 or 2, maybe 3 steps down is what's actually keeping us stuck, right? It's the fear, it's the imposter syndrome, it's all of those other things. And so I see so many amazing coaches, a lot of you guys on here, that are not getting your message out because you're still stuck in your own stories and you still have those protectors. And trust me, you guys, the more you level up, the more this stuff shows up, right? So really with the Invincible Entrepreneur, the biggest thing I want to do is we're going to be a community. We have created a community that is safe, that is supportive, that allows you to be honest and be open and see that stuff. And I'm going to coach you through and I'm going to help you uncover and ask you questions and really understand, like, why are you building your business? What is your purpose? Why do you want to do this? And then as we start to grow, we start to see that stuff, right? Like we're doing an Invincible Money, the Invincible Money piece right now with my live group. And there's so many things about just like, what was your first story with money? And, you know, like you can have all the strategy in the world, but if you're not in a place where you can receive money and you're not in a place where you can actually charge what you're worth, you're never going to get there, right? Like our business, our gym, we started doing marketing. We were paying a crazy amount of money to work with a marketing company. We were spending thousands upon thousands of dollars every month on advertising, right? And so we got to the point where we're doing like $40K a month. But at the end of the month, there wasn't anything left because what was happening is we had like expenses went up, all this stuff went up. But if I really look at it, there was a point where we weren't ready to receive it, right? We weren't really ready to receive that money. We didn't have practical strategies, but we also weren't energetically connected with it, right? And so when we look at all of the things in life, there's an energetics and there's a piece of like who we are as humans that we have to work on and we get to love through and we get to make sure we're doing. And then there's the business side of it, right? And I have done so many different things and done them wrong and done them right that I really want to help you guys like not go through those hurdles and not have to do it the hard way and learn all of this stuff the hard way. So I want to fast track this. But I also want you to know that as an entrepreneur, it can feel very lonely, right? It can be really lonely to be like, I'm building my business. Say you did some kind of certification and then you got out of it and you're like, I had this amazing group, I had this support, and now I'm on my own. And it's really scary to do this stuff when you're not being supported, right? And I have seen so many women that should be, and men that should be building these businesses and they're not because it's scary and there's no one to ask a question to and there's no one to support them and there's no one to push them outside of their comfort zone, right? They just don't have that community. So I want our community, it is already, but it's going to be a place where you're safe, you're held, right? We work on you as an entrepreneur, right? I said this before, like you can be the catalyst to your growth or you can be the roadblock to your success, right? And for so many of us, we're the roadblock to our success, right? So I want to help you guys get from where you are to where you're going and do it in a way that feels easy and do it in a way that feels flowy and do it in a way that you're like, oh, this is expansive. This is what I want it to feel like, right? With very practical strategies, right? So if we talk about the practical strategies of a coaching business, that's the other side, right? So the way it's gonna work inside of this round of Invincible Entrepreneur is that you're going to have a lot to say in the order we go in this, right? And so there's the first 2 pieces are kind of already in place, but then after that, it's going to be like, do we want to talk about program creation? Do we want to talk about launching? Do we want to talk about podcasting? Like, what do we need next? Is it sales? Is it growth? Is it like, what do we need? And we're going to do that as a group, right? So every module will be, or every chunk, if you will, is going to be about 4 weeks. Okay. Half of the time, we're going to actually talk about you as the entrepreneur inside of this piece. And the other half, we're going to talk strategy, right? In between that, there will be the things for you to take care of yourself. How are you physically, mentally, and emotionally taking care of yourself? How are you managing your time? How are you sleeping? Like, I'm going to be totally honest, you guys. This was a crazy week for me, which is amazing. But the reason I'm probably losing my voice is I didn't sleep enough. I probably didn't eat enough. Yes, I still did my morning routine. Yes, I still exercised. But like, I'm still coaching at the gym. I'm still doing all of these things. And it was a very good reminder from the universe of like, hey, when you stop taking care of yourself, things are going to eventually crash, right? We're going to hit overwhelm. We're going to get into hustle, right? So those are all the things we're going to talk about is as you grow this business. It's completely different than just like, okay, hey, I'm gonna just coach, right? I'm just gonna start a coaching business, because so often we think that, and then we're like, oh wow, there's a lot that goes into this, and a lot that like we don't even anticipate, because like we don't know what we don't know, right? And so that's what I'm going to teach you guys. Okay, so I want to walk through. If you've seen the website, you can kind of go through this, but I want to talk really briefly about all of the pieces inside of it on the actual strategy part that we're going to go through. Okay, so if you go look at it, so it's 12-month intensive. I have it up on my computer, so if I'm looking away, that's why. And give me a hello, hi when you guys jump on. Jorge, I know you're on here. Jocelyn, you're on here. So I'm looking at my website if you want to follow along. But first thing we're going to do is Invincible Vision, right? You need to know where you want to go, how much money you want to bring in, how many clients you want to serve, how many clients can you serve, how many hours are you working in your business, what does that look like, right? So we want to have a 1 year, a 3 year, and a 10-year goal, right? Because if we don't know that, and we just haphazardly jump, which I'm going to be honest, that's what Brandon and I did 11 years ago with the gym. And yes, the gym has grown, but could it have grown much faster and much easier? Absolutely, right? Because we didn't do this. We didn't have a strategy. We didn't have a plan. We're just like, we love what we do. We took our passion. We jumped, right? It's been amazing. We've learned a lot along the way, right? So if you need to have a very, like you need an invincible vision of what you want to create, right? Like, do you want to be a solopreneur? Do you want to have a small team? Do you want to build a legacy? Do you want to have a massive team? Like, what does that look like? And how do you actually get there, right? So we need the vision, and then we're going to reverse engineer that vision so that it's very clear to you. So that on those days that you don't want to build your business, you don't want to be doing it, you're frustrated, you're stressed, or whatever, you're like, but this is my vision, right? There's a saying, and it's fear pushes us until vision pulls us, right? So I want you to get into a place where every day you're taking inspired action. It's not something you have to hustle for. It's not something you have to think about. It is literally your vision pulling your soul to that place, to that highest version of your business, that highest version of yourself, so that you can serve the people that you're meant to serve, right? Because when it really comes down to it, we are all here to serve. Yes, I want you to make money, and I want you to make as much as you want. If you want to be a billionaire, be a billionaire. If that's not your goal, that's cool too, right? Like, your vision is your vision, but you need to know what it is. You need to be very clear in it. It needs to be a visceral connection, and you need to be emotionally connected to it and to the people that you're helping, okay? So the first thing we're going to do is Invincible Vision. What does that look like? How do we reverse engineer it? How do you actually get there? And what does that growth look like so you can really hit those goals, right? We never had goals for the gym when we opened, and I'll be honest, once we started having those, everything changed, right? Thank you, Jocelyn. Jocelyn's a rock star, you guys. I'm gonna get her on here hopefully in the next couple of days, but she has just absolutely crushed the first 8 weeks of the program that we're running right now. She's incredible. So if you have questions, check with Jocelyn. Hi, April. All right, guys. So Invincible Vision is the first one. Okay, these don't necessarily go in order. Second in it is Invincible Money, right? And so that's what the women and I are going through right now. Again, if you're not able to receive money and you have this weird, like, around money, like almost all of us do, right? Almost all of us have some kind of money block that is keeping us from stepping into who we really want to be. So in that, we go through like, what are your old stories around money? Where are your gaps? What actions are you taking? And then really understanding money and becoming a money magnet, right? I'm not going to go super into depth with all these because I'll be here for 2 hours if I do. So going through the money course. And I'm telling you guys, when I did this, it transformed everything in my life, because I was literally at that point where like I was so in my masculine all the time, I couldn't receive, right? That's another passion of mine on a side note of helping you guys really balance masculine and feminine energy and understanding what that is and understanding how that shows up in your business and in your life, okay? So Invincible Money. Then we have Invincible, well, we have my computer going really slow. I think it's Invincible Growth. So Invincible Growth, right? Like, how do you actually grow your Facebook? So Facebook group growth. How do you grow your friends list so that you're at a place, if you watch these videos, like how do you actually get to 5,000 friends that are your ideal customer? How do you grow your Facebook group, right? And we will expand outside of Facebook, right? So we'll look at LinkedIn, we'll look at Instagram, we'll look at other platforms. Don't ask me about TikTok. I don't know it yet, but we'll learn it. So we're going to talk about how do you grow this group, right? How do you get all thousands of people inside of your group so that when you want to make an offer, you can monetize it and you can have this, like, this place where warm leads are just living and you're serving them and you're helping them. And then when you're ready to launch something, they're there and they're your ideal client. They know, like, and trust you. And when you launch something, they're ready to jump, right? So how do you grow your Facebook group? because really it's about monetizing that group and also understanding your ideal client better is what do they need, right? And then Invincible Copy, right? So if you guys haven't ever dove into copy, you could spend 10 years being a master in copywriting. We don't need to be that good, but we do need to understand that how you write copy, what you write, how you're saying it, how you're formatting it, that really matters, okay? Really, really matters. Same thing, how are you doing your live videos? What are you saying? How do we get that into a place where it's actually going to convert and it's not just people see your post and they're like, wow, this is a really long post, I'm not gonna read it, right? And you have a call to action at the bottom and they don't ever take action because they don't get that far, right? So how do you write Invincible Copy? And then next, come on computer. Apparently my technology doesn't work too well together. I still have a voice, so that's good. Okay, so then program design. So this is a piece that I think I struggled with the most, right? I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm going to do this. So I did a program called Flow. It was amazing. I did it as a beta group. It was awesome. And then I was like, this is what I'm going to sell, right? I went in, I sold it, I attempted to sell it, and I heard crickets, I'm going to be totally honest. So then I did a 6-week program, and I got a lot of the same people that already knew, liked, and trusted me, to do that. And I did a 6-week program, right? And then I was like, I'm just going to sell this as a course. No big deal. It'd be super simple. It's $199 or $299 or whatever I had it up for. And it didn't work, right? Like I got crickets on that one as well. And so then I was like, okay, I'm going to do big launches, right? Like my mentor does a class or two a year, right? So it's 100 women that come in, twice a year. And that felt always sticky for me because I was like, well, I don't have 20,000 followers or millions of followers like she does. And so if I did these launches, then like, what if I only got 10 people, right? This is all my protectors, but what if I only got 10 people and then I have to launch again and like have to wait for 6 months? Like that didn't make sense, right? So I'm going to teach you how to design your program in a way that you start with a group, they run with you live, which is exactly what I'm offering you guys, right? Like I'm doing what I'm teaching you. I'm not like doing something and teaching you something else. So you're going to have a group that runs with you live and you teach them live for 6 or 12 months, whatever you decide on. But then you allow every like 6 weeks, you do another launch and you bring other people in and they're going to come in and they're going to watch the videos and they're going to watch the modules and they're still going to have access to you live and to your team. But it's a system where it can build on itself and you get to launch every 6 weeks, every 8 weeks, every 12 weeks, whatever you decide, but you get them for 6 to 12 months, right? And you guys have asked me like, why is this 12 months? This program is 12 months because I want you to get the results that you desire. Like, can I help you in 90 days? Absolutely. But like, what's going to happen after those 90 days, right? This is why it's 12 months because I want you guys to make $250,000 this year, right? I want you to be at 20K a month. I want that to be something that's real in your life. So that it's actually like working in the way that you want it to work. I want you to create that revenue and I want you to have a system that is not going to overwhelm you, that is not going to have you end up burned out. There's not going to do all of those things, right? So how do we design that program? What does it look like? How do you build it, right? We're going to sell it, right? So if you look at this, my mom proofed this for me and she's like, okay, it says launch it, sell it, develop it, and host it. She's like, shouldn't it be the other way? And I'm like, no, first you're going to launch it, you're going to sell it. And then with who comes into your group, you're going to develop it with them, right? You're not going to create a system inside of a bottle. You're going to do it with your people so you can truly give them what they want, right? I talked about this the other day. If you design a course and it goes this way and your people need to go this way, then you're like, well, that doesn't do me any good, right? So you're going to sell it and then go through it with them, okay? Hopefully that makes sense. It's backwards of what almost everyone else teaches, but it is the absolute best way to do it in a way that feels flowy and easy. And you actually serve your clients more than if you're trying to put them into a cookie cutter program that you think is what they need, okay? So you have program design, and then launching like a pro, right? So there's different ways to launch. You can do webinars, you can do live-inars, you can do live events, you can do live launch, which is essentially, that's a Kelly Roach coaching thing, right? And so that's what we're doing this week is what does a live launch actually look like? So I will teach you guys that with her permission. And then Jocelyns sending me messages and I don't know what they say. So thank you, Jocelyn. I'm going to have to go read them though. And then so we have Invincible launching. We have Invincible PRs and podcasting. And again, you guys, this is not necessarily going to go in this order, right? So it's not necessarily going to flow the way that I have it. It's going to flow how you guys want it, right? I think she's telling me I missed things. So program design, I did. Invincible enrollment, that's what she's telling me. So Invincible enrollment, that's a huge one for most of us. I love sales, love sales, right? Like I started selling snowmobiles when I was 18. when I got done with my program, I actually worked as an enrollment specialist for my mentor, and it was amazing, right? It was like, I didn't make a ton of money, which was whatever, that was what it was. But the experience of getting to be on that many sales calls with that many people was invaluable, right? So I love sales. I am super passionate about sales, and I have a really, really easy strategy for you guys to actually get on sales calls and close those high ticket people, right? When you're selling your group programs, you should actually probably be selling them like this. You're selling them online, and that's what I'm going to teach you. But if you want to be doing sales calls, I'm going to teach you the exact strategy where you can close like 80% of your leads, because you will answer all of their objections before you ever get there. Okay, so we'll teach you the 10 clarities. It's amazing. So Jocelyn, thank you. So we missed enrollment. Program design, Invincible launch, Invincible podcasting, and PR, right? So many of us are like, maybe I want a podcast, maybe I don't. How do I get PR? How do I get on podcasts, right? Podcasts are amazing, and they're their whole own thing, right? So when you think about podcasting, people can binge listen to your podcast. You can be with them when they're walking. You can be with them when you're driving. Like, this is something that I am going to do in the next 30 days. I'm going to finally launch my podcast. But I'm going to teach you guys, if you don't want to have your own podcast, or if you do want to have your own podcast, how do you do it and how do you make it successful? And then if you're just starting out, how do you get on other people's podcasts, right? Because the growth that you can have from being on a podcast is incredible. Okay. And next we've got Invincible Team, right? So this is one of my other passions, because I've done it. So, I did it with my parents' snowmobile business. I had this amazing team, and for me, it wasn't about what they knew or any of that kind of stuff, but it was like, what's the vibe I want in our store, right? Like, what was the vibe I wanted? How do I get everyone to work together? And then, like, you can teach them anything. But I've also made the mistake, along with a lot of these businesses, is having the I can do it all mentality. And I can't, and I've learned that, and I've learned it the hard way, right? And having these mindsets of like, but what if I take on a team and then I can't afford to pay them, and then I have to lead them, and I have to, like, there's a lot that goes into building your team. Okay, so I'm going to teach you guys really how to find the people, how to hire them, when to hire them, how to have a VA, how to grow your team. What does that look like? When do you do it? And then really, how do you like step up into being an invincible leader, right? Because part of this is, how do you actually lead this team to love your business as much as you love your business? Okay, so invincible team to me is a huge, huge thing. And teaching yourself as a leader, how do you delegate? How do you accept help? How do you receive help, right? And how do you make sure that everyone on your team stays happy and is really bought into your vision? And how do you help them create their own vision inside of your team, right? Because yes, you have your vision, but you really want to pour in and grow and help these people that become part of your team. Okay, so invincible team, and then invincible content and social. Okay, I feel like social media should be and content should be one of the funnest things. Funnest, I don't think that's a word. One of the things that you enjoy the most inside of your business, but for so many of us, we don't, right? Because we're like, I don't know what to post about. It takes me too much time. We have all these stories around it, right? Again, if you haven't watched day one, go back and watch day one, because if you have your genius model, your content becomes very easy. Okay, so I will help you create a content calendar. I'll help you understand how to make videos quickly and how to do stuff that feels in flow and feels easy, and also only takes a couple hours a month, right? Wouldn't that be nice to not be doing it for hours a day? Okay, so we'll do invincible content and social media. And then Invincible Author. So I am in the midst of writing my book right now. It is close to done. I'm going to teach you guys how to write a book, right? So maybe you don't think that you want to write a book, but if you are an authority in anything, which you are because you're a coach, you should have a book, okay? There's different ways to do this, but the biggest thing about your book is it's going to amplify your authority. It's going to be something that you can give people. It's going to be something you can say, hey, I'm an author. I'm going to teach you guys how to become an Amazon #1 bestseller. Okay. This is a huge, huge piece of what it's going to do for your authority when you start to talk to higher level clients, and when you really get to that point. Okay. And then the last part is really, how do we find those high level clients, right? So invincible pricing is a whole nother strategy that's off of social media. I promise you guys, it is unlike anything that you've ever done before, but it's going to teach you how do you get clients that will pay you $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 a month for doing what you do right now, right? How do you find those people? How do you get in contact with them? How do you get meetings with them? And how do you actually land those clients? Like, how many of you would be super happy with like one client that would pay you $5,000 a month? That would be pretty nice, right? So I'm going to teach you guys how to do that. It's just one of the coolest things I've ever seen, and it is unlike anything you've ever seen before. Okay, so that's the stuff I have right now. And then if you go to it, yet again, I said before that like all of these strategies can be great, but if you're in your own way, you're not going to do any of them. And if you don't have community and you don't feel safe and you don't feel held and you hit burnout and all your stories and all your beliefs and all the stuff comes up and you don't take action, then none of this matters, right? And so that's where the entrepreneur piece really comes in of giving you that space to be, to be held, to be safe, to be all of those things, okay? So that's the content, but then how does it really work, right? Like, so what does it actually look like? So right now, and I don't believe this is going to change, the way it's going to work is that every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, I'll do the live coaching, okay? So it's 90 minutes, it's all live on Zoom, and we all go through this together, okay? If you can't make the lives, of course, that's fine. Do your best to make it, but if you can't make it, they're always recorded, and then you'll have lifetime access to them, okay? We're going to do weekly office hours. So this time isn't set yet, but again, you guys are going to help me set this when you join the Invincible Entrepreneur. So office hours is just going to be a place for us all to come and sort of be, right? So we'll all log on to Zoom. We'll spend an hour. I'll be there. You can ask questions, but we're all going to be working, right? So it's going to be a really structured time to work, right? And maybe it's a time where you're like, I'm going to do some reach out messages. I don't know what I'm supposed to say. So I'm being held by the group. And then if stuff comes up, somebody responds, you have a question, you're going to have that office hours, right? So it's a time for you to say, I know for sure I'm spending this hour, this day of the week, getting my stuff done, okay? So you're gonna have that. It's also a really good time to collaborate, right? There's a whole lot to be said for community and collaboration, and this will be a really good time to do that, okay? So you're gonna get the live coaching calls. Like I said, there's gonna be a monthly theme, so 4 to 5 weeks. Again, I'm not set in stone, like this has to be done in 4 weeks and we need 5. We're gonna take 5. That's just how it is. I want you guys to get the outcome. Remember, everything I said this week is everything is based on outcome. So if it takes 5 weeks to get the outcome, it's gonna take 5 weeks, okay? You're gonna have playbooks, right? So things you can actual action steps, write it down, get it done, do the thing, right? Again, my biggest problem with most courses, so you buy a self-led course, you're like, oh, go do the thing, it's amazing. People don't take action. I don't know how many courses I purchased in the last 3 years, but it was a lot of them. I was like, oh, this is gonna be awesome, right? But then something gets stuck, no one's holding me accountable, and I don't get it done, right? So the thing about this is you guys are going to be taking action. I will love you, I will push you, and I will get you to do the things that you know you need to do, because sometimes it takes that loving little push outside of our comfort zone, right? What did I say? Growth happens outside of our comfort zone, okay? So that's going to be part of it, is that you're gonna have a playbook, you're gonna have action steps, you're going to have things you need to get done, and that we're gonna actually ask you, like, did you get it done, right? And it's not like I'm gonna kick you out of the group if you didn't, but when you know, like, when you know something has to be done when there's a deadline, you're gonna get it done, and you're gonna push past those fears, and we're gonna honor the fears, and we're gonna talk about the fears, and we're gonna love the fears, right? And we're gonna step through all of that stuff as we go, okay? Obviously there's a separate private Facebook group outside of this one. Like I said, you'll have lifetime access to all the content that is, that's on my website. Let's see what else. Support and accountability. I mean, I think that's really, you guys, one of the biggest pieces of this is just having a group of like-minded people, right? Having a group of people that are really passionate and working and stepping in and showing up and helping each other. And like I said, collaboration is huge, and just the support, even with the women that started with me 7 weeks ago, the friendships, the friendships and the growth and all of that stuff is so cool. And I know a lot of you guys are coming out of programs or you're in programs right now that was in a group that was really supportive and you felt really held. And I want you guys to take that step into the next group of being supported and being held and growing and showing up, right? And I have a vision, you guys, of retreats, and I have a vision of live events, and I have this vision of all of us coming and creating this massive legacy for people to really change the world. So that's a big part of what it is. So, and Jocelyn, thank you. Jocelyn just reminded me, I don't know if I mentioned breath work. So I host breath work every week. I will do some breathwork sessions and some meditation sessions for you guys outside of what's in there. So if I feel like we're in a place where we need a specific breathwork or specific meditation or something, I'm going to create that for you guys, right? So if you know me, my goal is to over deliver, and I go off of intuition, and what you guys need, I'm going to give, and I'm going to deliver, and I'm going to pour into you guys. So along this journey, whatever I feel like we need, we're going to have, right? And one of the things I'm feeling pulled to is as the world starts to open up a little bit more and life gets back to normal, I want us to all be together. I want us to be in a real life place I envision steamboat and a retreat in the mountains, in the snow. So much can happen. So much magic can happen when we can actually get physically in the same place. Okay. Other stuff that just keeps coming to mind of what I'm going to teach you guys is how do you network? How do you grow? How do you create your own little amazing environments? Like, there's just so much to it. But what I want you guys to understand is that this is going to be a comprehensive program with personal development and business growth, right? Like I said, my goal is that all of you get to at least $250,000 within your first 12 months. Okay. The investment for this program is $444 a month. I honestly do not. So let me say, how do I say this? My brain is fried. So my goal is if you invest $444, you have at least doubled, tripled, if not 5x'd that first investment by the end of the first 30 days. Okay. I was talking to Jocelyn the other day. She has 6 times her investment in 6 weeks. Okay. Every single woman that invested with me in my 30-day mini course, which is now turning into this big program, every single one of them has made their money back. If they were able to do the things, they showed up, they did the post, they launched their mini course, every single one of them has made back more than they invested with me. Okay. And that is my goal, is that when you invest with me, you 5x your investment, right? Like, this is an investment inside of yourself. It's an investment inside of your business. And if you're not making money when you're applying what we're doing, then we have a problem, right? And then you need to be reaching out to me. I will help you make lots of money. Okay. I want you to make money. More than anything, I want you to serve your people. I want you to step into your power. I want you to be the coach that you know you're destined to be. I want you to believe in yourself, and I want you to go, and I want you to know that it's actually possible, right? Like, yeah, Jocelyn says, no joke, literally 6-fold her investment, right? 6 times her investment in 6 weeks. So I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Hopefully this helps and gives you a little more guidance on what the program is actually about. Like I said, we're going to do the live Q&A tonight at 5 o'clock. So make sure you jump on live so we can actually ask questions. Send me a DM. Ask me anything you guys want to need to know. I'm going to jump off now. I'm going to jump back on with Sally, who's one of the women in my program now. I'm going to just chat with her. I want you guys to hear her experience, because it's really, it's better to hear from somebody that just isn't me, right? So stay on here, stay in the group. We'll be back. I'm going to jump on Zoom with Sally. We'll be on here in just a couple minutes. And then join me tonight at 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Bring all your questions. Again, even if you're like, I think there's no chance I'm going to do this, come to it. Ask me questions. Ask me questions about the content, right? I want you guys to get all the value you could have gotten from this group. So 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So 4 o'clock Pacific, 6 o'clock Central, 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So hopefully it's not too late for anybody. But please jump on, tell any of your friends, talk to your friends and be like, should we be doing this together? I love people that already know each other that come into this together, because it just adds a whole nother layer of accountability and of awesomeness. So my voice made it, which is exciting. So I love and appreciate you all. I will see you tonight. If you need the Zoom link, let me know. It's also posted. I posted it yesterday. But if you can't find it, if you have any questions, let me know and I will get you on there. So I hope you guys are having an amazing Sunday, and I'll be back with Sally in about 3 minutes. All right, guys, take care.